Good afternoon.
Yay!
All right. Nice job.
Welcome to the official groundbreaking ceremony for Taylor's Wave and Riverside Park expansion. I'm Lisa Raleigh, and I'm RiverLink's Executive Director. And we are grateful and honored to be the nonprofit partner since 2019 in this amazing undertaking known as Woodfin Greenway Blueway. A project with the magnitude and complexity of WGB doesn't come to fruition without incredible collaboration and partnership across multiple entities and stakeholders. And we are delighted to have some of those folks share their thoughts with us in a moment. We're also excited to have many elected officials with us today. Some will be speaking, and I will introduce them at that time, but we also have elected individuals in the attendance who include regrets sent from Robin Ramsey for Tom Tillis, U.S. Senator, regrets from Chuck Edwards, U.S. Congressman, two more, Roy Cooper, and regrets from Warren Daniel, North Carolina State Senator, and our dear Kayla Brudow, who had to be out of town today. We are delighted to have Al Whiteside, Buncombe County Commissioner, Jim McAllister, Mayor, Town of Woodfin, Betsy Irvin, Vice Mayor, Town of Woodfin, and the following Woodfin Town Council members: Eric Edgerton, Hazel Thornton, Johanna Young, Phil Cohen, Ken Kahn. In addition to two former member Woodfin Town Council, Debbie Geitzen-Tanner and Jackie Bryson. And thank you, Mayor, Town of Weaverville, Patrick Fitzsimmons, for being here today. So thank you all for being here and for your support. And let's get started with the speakers. So let's begin with the fabulous community of Woodfin. There have been multiple generations of elected and staff leadership that have journeyed with WGB to this point. Some of today's key Woodfin staff include Sherry Powers and Adrian Eisenhower, in addition to the steadfast, thoughtful, intentional, and bold leadership of Woodfin's town manager, Shannon Tuck.
Thank you. Can you all hear me? All right. So, okay, I'll do my best. I do not have the best outdoor voice like some people, but I'll try. So thank you all so much for being here. This is so exciting. And I know on behalf of the town of Woodfin, we're so pleased to be able to share this moment with all of you. I know a lot of you are really excited. You've been waiting a long time for this, and I'm sure some of you out there probably question whether this day would ever even happen. But I am glad to be up here to prove you wrong as we get ready to start construction on this amazing project known as Riverside Park and Taylor's Wave. If you are not already familiar, you should know that Riverside Park and Taylor's Wave is just one piece of the larger Woodfin Greenway and Blueway initiative, and that's a very ambitious regional outdoor recreation project along the French Broad River. And it includes two community parks, including Silverline Park, which is about a mile south from here, and it opened in 2022. And then, of course, Riverside Park and Taylor's Wave, which is why we're here today. And this will be built over the next 18 to 24 months. But WGB also includes 5 miles of greenway along the French Broad River and Beaver Dam Creek. And when those greenways are complete, it will not only connect these two community parks, but it's going to connect Woodfin to the River Arts District in Asheville to the south, as well as to our neighbors to the north. So that's something we're very excited about. And WGB also represents a decade of work. This did not happen overnight. It's been long coming. And this project has been very deeply rooted in partnership. And when it's done, it will not just deliver amazing outdoor recreation opportunities and wonderful outdoor spaces, but it's going to improve our community's climate resiliency. It's going to, through the constructed wetlands, it's going to increase our flood storage. It's going to capture stormwater in addition to holding those flood waters. It's going to filter that water and clean it before it gets discharged back into the French Broad River. It's going to expand the habitat, the wildlife habitat in this area, in the riparian area. It's going to expand our transportation options through the Greenway, and it will attract spectator events, sporting events, that hopefully will then also bring jobs and the addition of goods and services. We also expect that it's going to inspire new ideas and inspiration, and these are things that we just can't even predict now, but we look forward to seeing what will come. So in short, this is going to be an amazing and unique asset for our community. And we wouldn't be here today without those partnerships that I mentioned earlier, including the Buncombe County Tourism Development Authority, who came in a very big way in 2018 and 2022 with some, okay, I've been told to go louder, so I'm going to do my best. Tourism, the Asheville-Buncombe community, Buncombe County Tourism Development Authority, who provided some very generous funding at a very critical time, as well as the North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources, Riverlink, our newest nonprofit, our design professionals, Equinox Environmental and S2O, Hedrick Industries for their in-kind donation of rock, and now our newest team member, Baker Grading and Landscaping. There they are in the back. I see you guys hiding. Thank you guys so much for being part of our team now and for helping us get this project turned into reality. I'll just wrap up by saying if you would like more information about WGB, or if you would just like to track the construction progress for the park and the wave, I would encourage you all to visit the town's website at woodfin-nc.gov. We have a project page set up there that's got some good frequently asked question information, and that's also where we will be posting some regular updates and other news and information. A lot of that same information will be copied onto the town's Facebook page and Instagram pages, so if you prefer to get your news and information from that social media, please follow us at the Town of Woodfin. And that's it, and thank you all so much for being here, and we look forward to sharing the progress with you.
Thank you, Shannon. A project like this has a long trajectory, and you have to have belief and support in the early days to even get it off the ground. One instrumental individual in WGB's successful history is Woodfin's former mayor, who led the town for 20 years and is a lifelong resident. It is my pleasure to introduce Jerry Vihon.
You know, it really looks good to see this many people standing out in the hot sun. Anyhow, I'm glad to see this crowd here, and I appreciate each one of you coming. One of the things they wanted me to touch on was a little bit of the history of the French Broad River and Woodfin. And since I grew up here, I have seen a lot of changes in that river. When I was growing up, you could fish in it, but you wasn't going to eat the fish. You could swim in it, but then you better be ready to take a cold shower when you get out. But it was quite a bit of cleanup and quite a bit of effort on a lot of people following all along the French Broad. In 2016, we had an opportunity to come along and get involved with the wave as well as the Greenway. The wave, it seems, initially they thought they might put it in the River Arts District, and that didn't work out, so they came to Woodfin and wanted to know did we want it. Well, you know what our answer is. Right here's the answer. And in the next 6 to 8 months, you're going to see the results of what happened. Mentioning the river again, our former town administrator, who is deceased now, Jason Young, came to me and wanted to know if he thought the town would be interested in the WAVE project. Not knowing much about it, I looked into it, and the board decided, yes, we want the WAVE project. We've had to fight some uphill battles with funding. We got started with it. DOT was going to fund it, and they finally did, but there was about a 2-hour delay with their funds. Anyway, it came down to where we had a vote to help fund the Greenway and the WAVE. And believe it or not, it passed with a 71% margin of victory. We've got, in addition to the WAVE and the Greenway, some of you may have saw the Craggy Mountain Line Railroad cars come through here just a little while ago, but that's all part of it. Once we've got the Greenway completed, the WAVE completed, then they'll have the railroad to make regular stops down here wherever they decide. Now they stop at the park down here and go up to Silverline Park. But anyway, I appreciate everybody being here today to show your support. We're going to do our best to keep everything on track. You can see some of the small equipment that they have over here, and to work on the thing with. And when you have a chance, come down and watch what they're doing when they're going to be out in the river, putting not rocks but boulders out there and doing some other things. So that those of you who want to, certainly that does not include me, but some of you that want to can get out in your canoe and come down and turn flips. And that, Jim, you'd be good at doing that. So anyway, it's going to be something that's very similar to the one out in Bryson City. So be looking for it. Keep up your support. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to back to our master of ceremonies. But anyway, think about everything that's been done, and I want to express my appreciation to the board members, the Woodfin board members who were here in 2016 when we started this project. And hopefully if you see them around here today, speak to them, tell them how much you appreciate it. But anytime you want to update, you can look online, it'll be there. And with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to the Master of Ceremonies. And once again, I really appreciate everybody showing up. And looking back here in the back, we might even get this thing to run to Weaverville. So, anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. So dreaming this big and bold requires a significant amount of investment and financial support. One of the key financial partners from the early stages, as Shannon referenced, was the Buncombe County Tourism Development Authority and their very generous investments in WGB via their Tourism Product Development Fund. Please welcome CEO and President Vic Isley to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Friday. I am pleased to be here on behalf of Explore Asheville and the Buncombe County Tourism Development Authority, and would like to recognize our board members, Tourism Product Development Committee members, and staff that are with us this afternoon. If you'd raise your hand to be recognized. Thank you all very much. So Explore Asheville and the Buncombe County Tourism Development Authority are proud to be collaborative community partners to enhance the quality of life for residents and create additional amenities for visitors through the Tourism Product Development Fund. Through grant cycles in 2017 and 2022, the authority has committed $8.14 million to this legacy project. Since 2001, the authority has committed $96 million to more than 50 capital projects that we all get to enjoy as residents, from ball fields, parks, and greenways to performing arts venues and museums for this deeply rooted and ever-evolving community. Investing in these types of projects is in full alignment with Explore Asheville's strategic imperatives that ladder up to broader community goals, delivering balanced and sustainable growth, encouraging safe and responsible travel, engaging and inviting more diverse audiences, and promoting and supporting Asheville's creative spirit. For example, the Woodfin Greenway and Blueway will create another riverfront amenity in northern Buncombe County that lessens the impact on other areas and opportunities for visitor dispersal throughout our community. It will also add additional river access sites for all types of watercraft for residents and visitors alike. We're also going to have the opportunity to pursue new sporting events for our area, such as the 2024 Slalom and Kayak Cross Olympic Team Trials. It's good recency for the Olympics coming up. That event just took place this spring in another Southeast community and generated nearly $1.5 million in economic impact. So we've got some bidding to do going forward. But today is a day to celebrate the power of partnerships, the power of travel and hospitality and how it helps shape our community, and the power of the collaborative spirit when we come together to invest in our collective community. Thank you all. Again, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks, Vic. So as Vic shared, WGB has local, regional, state, and beyond impact, given the opportunity to hold whitewater events on Taylor's Wave. WGB has enjoyed the support of leaders throughout our region and state. It's my pleasure to introduce longtime environmental advocate and North Carolina State Senator Julie Mayfield.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Yep. All right. So I do have, part of my job here is to tell you about some of the funding and the state involvement in this project. But before I do that, I just have to call out somebody who you're going to hear from later in the program. But and that is Mark Hunt. I first heard about this project. I first heard about this project from Mark in 2014 when I was thinking about running for city council and he was on city council. And I just want to say this community is so incredibly fortunate to have visionary people like Mark. Mark had this all put together in his head and was talking and shopping it to people long before he walked into Jerry's office and Jerry said, yeah, let's do this. So we are so lucky to have Mark, and what we are doing here today is really a celebration of his vision and his tenacity. So thank you, Mark. As you have heard, there are a lot of fingers in this pie, and particularly the funding pie. And I am delighted to say that the state of North Carolina has contributed to this through a couple of different pots of funding from the state. The state has contributed about $600,000 to this project. That allowed the project to leverage another $500,000 from the feds, and that's really for this part of the project. And that, in addition to that, there's been about $13 million of transportation dollars, federal transportation dollars, that have come through our local metropolitan planning organization for the whole greenway aspect of it. So this is another amazing thing about Mark. And again, and let me just say, I am a firm believer that the right people are in the right place at the right time. And you so often can't get things done without that being the case. And Mark is one of the few people, I think, in Asheville at that time who could have looked at and put together the opportunities for funding. I mean, how many people even know what the MPO is? Seriously, raise your hand. Yeah, okay. So, you know, Mark was on in the MPO. He knew what the MPO was. He knew that there were millions of dollars there that he could put to work for our community. And same thing about state land conservation funding. So I guess in short, happy that the state has participated in this. Very grateful to the feds, and Tristan Winkler is here from the MPO. Thanks for all the help that they have given. And and I should say, we're still trying to get money from the state. If we have a budget this year, which is not guaranteed, by the way, a new budget, we are advocating, I am strongly advocating to get even more funding, direct allocation, to wrap up the funding for this project through the state budget. So fingers crossed, we get a new budget that will have that money in it. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. As Julie spoke to, without a doubt, it took all these partners, and one of the key partners throughout this journey has been Buncombe County. We would like to extend personal gratitude to the current Parks and Rec team of Allison Daines, Thomas Gull, and Joseph, where are you in the little bucket hat? Joseph Gooseman, for their dedication and commitment to this project. WGB is not only an amazing set of amenities for the local community, but also throughout the county. Buncombe County's commitment, support, and leadership have been key to our success. Please help me in welcoming County Commissioners Terry Wells and Amanda Edwards.
Good afternoon. I am Terry Wells, and when I see this river, I think of adventure, imagination, and possibilities. And I also think of a young boy who was about 12 years old in the 1880s, Alonzo Carlos Reynolds. He was my great-great-grandmother's younger brother. And in the early 1880s, he traveled on horseback from Sandy Mush to Asheville, and that was the first time he saw this mighty river. And based on his writings, it inspired his imagination, it inspired him to think of possibilities, and to go on and have many adventures. And it is with great enthusiasm that I applaud all the doers and all the dreamers who have worked on this project and who continue to work on this project. As we embark on this new chapter of this story in this mighty river and the Woodfin riverfront, I am especially excited for all the young boys and young girls and those of you who are young at heart to use your imaginations and to challenge yourselves with many new adventures. So I thank every single one of you who care about our community and contribute to our community in a multitude of ways. So let us together, let us all continue to dream big and to make waves. My fellow Commissioner, Amanda Edwards.
Thanks, Commissioner Wells. As she said, my name is Amanda Edwards, and Buncombe County is incredibly proud to be a partner on this innovative project that will introduce paddling to a whole new generation of kayakers. It may even get a sea kayaker like myself out on the river. To date, Buncombe County has invested over $2 million into this Greenway project. Buncombe County and our amazing staff has the vital role of administering Greenway development across our county, and we're currently undergoing a Greenways Master Facility Plan. This connects into that much larger overall picture for us of an interconnected Greenway system and gives us the opportunity to provide multimodal connectivity across our beautiful county. Projects of this scale and magnitude do not happen in isolation. From the vision of Taylor's Wave to the conceptual design, fundraising, and now the much awaited groundbreaking. It has taken hundreds of people to get us here this afternoon. There's no way I can begin to acknowledge every single person involved in making today happen. But I do want to acknowledge a few folks along the way. The French Broad River MPO, the TDA, the voters of the town of Woodfin and Buncombe County for passing amazing bond referendums. And the myriad individual and foundation donors who so generously opened your pocketbooks to give and to give again to ensure this vision is happening. And of course, we would be remiss not to acknowledge the partnership of RiverLink. Taylor's Wave is a perfect example of what can happen when we all come together to collaborate and partner. We can do big, innovative projects that benefit many people across our community. It requires patience, passion, long hours, and yes, even compromise. But today shows us just how incredible things can be when we all come to the table together. Without the vision of Mark Hunt and every single donor and partner, we would not be here this afternoon. Thanks to each and every one of you here and unavailable to attend today, to ensuring the vision of Taylor's Wave is really happening. Thank y'all.
Okay, to bring us home, as multiple people have spoken to, no project of this magnitude and boldness can come to fruition without a champion. Someone who is with the project every step of the way, from helping imagine it at its inception to delivering it to the starting line today. This champion's vision, persistence, expertise, generosity, knowledge, his kindness, and unwavering belief and commitment are one of the main reasons we've arrived at this moment. His family's grace and humanity fuel this team. And I can honestly say, working on WGB for the past 3 years has been a highlight of my professional career, in great part due to the heart of this individual. It is my honor and privilege to introduce my colleague and my friend, the one and only Mark Hunt.
So I was hoping to wait a little while before I started crying, and I almost am, so we'll see how this goes. Every time I speak publicly, it's all about... Every time I speak publicly. Is this doing okay? Yeah. There we go, thank you. It's expressing gratitude, and I have so much gratitude for all the partners. And if I started down that path of trying to name people, it would be endless. But I do want to acknowledge Wilson Sims, Rick Lutovsky, the two people that with me, and they're here today, came up with this idea of Friends of Woodfin Greenway and Blueway, the people that helped get the little ball rolling and made it bigger. And the YMCA of Western North Carolina was the fiscal sponsor early to take donations, and that's years ago, but super appreciative of those guys, and I suspect they haven't been mentioned yet. I want to talk a little bit about the river and about Taylor. My favorite place to launch and paddle my kayak is at Silverline Park, about 1.5 miles from here. And whenever I go there, there's usually people at the ramp. And we're talking about families, usually with small kids or adults of any age or just couples, whatever. Their story is often the same. They came to the park to picnic, take the kids to the playground, but the magnetism of the river is what drew them to the ramp, to be there with that open view of the beautiful river, and they were just happy enough. Their souls, their hearts, they were connecting there at the river. I'm convinced that with humans, there's something innate in our DNA about water and about rivers that calls us, that brings us. to the edge of the river to water. And starting in the 1800s, we began to turn our backs on the rivers and the water. Rivers became places for refuse, to build dams, to get rid of things, and to build industry. And along about 1955, you could not get public access to the French Broad River hardly at all in this county. And Wilma Dykeman wrote a very important book I hope you guys will all read if you haven't already, The French Broad. And Wilma was a pioneer in this movement to inspire the community to turn and embrace the river once again. And following Wilma's footsteps over the next couple decades, along came Karen Craig Nolan and Gene Webb to found RiverLink. Others followed on. Mountain True and the Riverkeeper program at Land of Scow Regional Council, the French Broad River Partnership, Asheville Greenworks, the Mills River Partnership, which looks after a tributary upstream. So we're doing better and better at caring for the river and about the river and turning our face to it and embracing it. And at its core, Woodfin Greenway and Blueway is about just that. It is one more way, one more important way that the river, that the community can connect to the river. Whether it's surfing the wave, whether it's going along the 5 miles of Greenway, whether it's coming to the park for picnic or leisure, it'll connect us to the river. And yes, this park is going to do great environmental things directly. You're standing right now on a landfill. It's about where you are 13, 14 feet deep of old building debris from buildings that were torn down decades ago. This project is going to remove 24,000 cubic yards of this landfill, and where you're standing will, in a few months, be down at natural grade level. So we're getting a landfill that doesn't need to be on the edge of the river, away from the river. That's a big step forward. We're going to have the stormwater fixed. We're going to do restorative vegetative practices, a great step. And I think the greatest thing environmentally that this project and others like it does is it connects people to the river so that we can be better stewards going forward. It's going to help us love the river more, and in turn help us influence our local governments and state governments and federal governments to look after the river and support the nonprofits that help us do that as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Taylor Hunt. So my family and we're tremendously honored forever that the town of Woodfin and its council would choose to name the wave in honor of our son. Many of you know we lost Taylor in 2015 in a whitewater kayaking accident in Ecuador. Taylor loved rivers. He, of course, grew up around them with his brother Colin, my wife Kat, and me. Kat's back there somewhere. Our granddaughter Audrey. If you've not met Audrey, you cannot leave here without meeting Audrey. She's up in the air. She's kind of famous on Facebook, if you follow me. Taylor was a person of the river, increasingly so. He loved being at the river, being with friends at the river. He was a staffer at French Broad River Academy, down next door here, introducing young people to rivers and outdoor adventure, as well as a camp counselor at Camp Mondamin. He was increasingly loving of the river as a resource and interested in protecting it. Taylor really loved to surf on waves. In about 2013, 12 or 13, when Taylor was about 19 years old, my wife Kat and I gathered Colin and some of his pals, and Taylor and a couple of his pals, and we went to the Ocoee River in Tennessee. The Ocoee is a great place to go play boating or surfing, and so there were all these young, athletic, expert level kayakers, and Kat and I trying to keep up with them. And we get down toward the end of the run, there's a great rapid called Hell's Hole. Hell's Hole is a great surfing wave. It hosted the 1988 World Freestyle Championships, and it is a super fun place to surf and play. And so Taylor jumped in a friend's playboat there, a real short freestyle design, and could not get enough of that wave that day. And Colin's pals, who are 4 years older and have been paddling a lot longer, would look at me and say, your punk kid is into surfing and he's getting dang good at it. And Taylor loves surfing, and until we lost him, one of my favorite things to do would be to go out on the river with Colin and Taylor, and I would drag them out. Often it was on Father's Day. It was like, guys, it's time to go to the Ocoee again. We got to go surfing. Many of you never knew Taylor. I know several of you here knew Taylor. And certainly the people that surf Taylor's wave in the future will not have known him, not very many. But hopefully some can come to appreciate that Taylor had followed his heart to the river. He began to love the river more and more, and that knowing that this place honors the way humans try to connect with the river, hopefully that can help inspire in some small way. And so I hope that as we go forward and tell the story about today and how this wave got its name, that we can sort of share that along, and there'll be probably a marker with an inscription that maybe speaks to a little of that here. But Taylor was just like the rest of us. You're here today. I mean, I know so many of you, and I know you to be people whose hearts are tugged by the river. So you're here today for those same reasons. Same reasons Taylor was here, the same reason I got energized about a project like this, and about the other great projects in the River Arts District and elsewhere along the French Broad. So that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. How about that?
Thanks, Mark. Okay, so now for the final moment in this celebration, we actually officially get to break ground. Before doing so, 2 quick announcements. If you've been part of the WGB Journey and team, please join us in front of the excavator in a few minutes for some photos. And everyone, after this groundbreaking, please head over to the French Broad River Academy, who is generously hosting us. And thanks to New Belgium Brewing for donating beer. We have an after celebration over there. We hope you all come. You may leave your cars where they are and walk over. We're super appreciative of both Fabra and New Belgium for having us. So with that, let's turn our attention to the excavator and Mark Baker, the patriarch of Baker Construction, the 40-year-old local firm that will be constructing the Wave and Riverside Park. And let's officially break ground.
Yeah.